Shalom, everybody. Please join me. This is Mary in my kitchen. Yeah. So, woohoo. Okay, so today I'm going to be cooking some tempeh, and I have two different kinds here. Tempeh is a fermented soybean product. You can make your own at home. It's a little more involved than I have time for. So I just buy mine, and this is a really, really good brand, the Light Life. And as you can see, it's made from organic soybeans, and it's very high in protein, minerals, and it's really delicious if you know how to cook it, just like anything else, right? So I'm going to start by showing you how I cook it in my Instant Pot. And kind of get out any of that slightly bitter flavor that people who haven't yet acquired a taste for fermented soy, they just don't have that appreciation for it. Let me put it that way. So we're going to get started. And this is what I'm going to use. I'm going to use some liquid smoke and some apple cider vinegar. This is the miraculous wonder that makes tempeh just absolutely delicious. You can eat it right out of the Instant Pot, just the way it is, make sandwiches or whatever, but I am going to marinate mine in this little dish I found, this little ceramic dish. And so let's do this. Okay, so I'm going to steam, pressure cook my tempeh in my Instant Pot for 10 minutes. And you can do it over the stove if you like. A lot of people do, and that's fine. I just prefer to use my Instant Pot because when I pressure cook it, it drives out the bitterness. It really does. And it's not even really bitter. It's kind of like, blue cheese. You know how you... It takes a little bit to acquire a taste for that fermented cheese. Well, this is kind of the same thing. It's not a bad thing. It's just it's different than most people are used to. So I'm going to take 1 cup of purified water and just put it in the bottom of my Instant Pot. Then, let's see if I can get the lid off with one hand. Then I'm going to add about, I don't know, a teaspoon of my liquid smoke. This stuff is amazing. I use it for almost every savory dish I cook in this kitchen. And then about, a tablespoon, two tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. And when you buy an Instant Pot, it comes with one of these nice little racks. And we just put that in there, kind of open it up. There we go. And after you remove your tempeh from the package, obviously this has not been frozen. They do sell frozen tempeh. I've never bought that. It's not available here in the great Midwest where I live. So you just kind of load those in there like that. And that's it. And we'll put the lid on it after I plug this in. And we'll lock the lid down. We'll make sure this little sealing cap is pointed back towards pressure cook. Notice the little silver button is down right now. And then I'm going to hit manual. And I'm going to take this down to 10 minutes. And that's it. That's all I do. And when it's done, if you're busy and the beeper goes off, it's going to sound like that. And you don't want to do a release right away, which I would not recommend. I leave it sit about 10 minutes, and then I put a towel over this sealing cap and flip it forward and let it completely depressurize. Otherwise it's going to keep cooking, and I don't think you want that. I don't believe it would fall apart, but it might. So I'm going to cook it for 10 minutes in my Instant Pot on a pressure cook, and we'll come back and I'll show you how I marinate it, and it's absolutely delicious. Okay, I have 1 cup of barbecue sauce here, and that's what I had in my kitchen, and I added about 2 tablespoons of maple syrup and 1 tablespoon of liquid smoke, and let's say 2 tablespoons of coconut aminos. And I'm going to try this time. I've never done it, but what the heck. Is that a teaspoon and a half? A teaspoon of prepared horseradish. And I'm also going to add a little garlic powder, onion powder, thyme, a pinch of salt, and maybe some rosemary. I'm not sure about that yet. And well, this will be the marinade sauce for the tempeh when it comes out of the Instant Pot. Last but not least, the poultry seasoning, which has a lot of herbs and spices in it. Probably I'll add about a tablespoon. The tempeh is done cooking. Actually, you don't really need to cook it, but steaming, I should say. And you just take it out of the Instant Pot. There we go. And then I'm going to marinate it with my sauce over here. And I'm going to leave it marinate the rest of the day. Probably at least, I don't know, 5 or 6 hours. And then you can slice it up and make sandwiches out of it, or add more spices, which I probably will add a few more spices, and put it in, you know, with tomato sauce over spaghetti. I think what I'm going to try doing today is putting it in my Cuisinart and just getting it down to some, maybe some pea-sized pieces, and adding some cooked rice and a few other things, and make a loaf or some patties. But whatever it ends up being, it's going to be really good, because tempeh is kind of like yogurt. I mean, whatever you put on it, that's what it tastes like, you know. And show you real quickly what that sauce looks like as this tempeh is marinating. Like I said, it's going to be delicious. So I hope this video blesses you. I hope it's taken some of the apprehension you may have about tempeh and turned it into excitement for this delicious, healthy food. So shalom, and thank you for supporting with One Accord Ministries. And let me know how you like these recipes. I appreciate feedback. Have a wonderful Shabbat when we get there. Bye-bye.